Hello guys, Andrea Papito here in ESENtaxa. Here today we are going to talk about how to move to Europe considering your assets abroad. I'm going to tell you something extremely important. I'm going to tell you also the number of countries, a list of countries that you can consider if you want to move to Europe, as I said, considering your assets abroad. Okay? I'm going to explain you exactly what I mean, but before moving forward, I just want to remember you that this is ESENtaxa, and here we are a consulting firm that explain you how to move to a specific country and optimize your taxes as much as possible. We tax simulate your situation before ahead of specific relocation, especially in Europe, and we consult you throughout all your type of incomes, all your type of assets, and we check together if a relocation in a specific country makes sense for you or not. Okay? In the description below the video you will have our email contact, info@esentaxa.com, if you want to contact us, or you can also have, still in the description, the Calendly link. You can use it to book a consultation with us, a 20-minute call, 1 hour call, 2 hours call, or as I said before, you can book a tax simulation through which we can understand your situation, considering your business structure, your personal family situation, family structure, all the kind of possibility that you must consider whenever to move to a specific jurisdiction. Now, going back to the topic of this video, it's extremely important to consider your assets abroad when you choose your next jurisdiction in Europe in which you're going to be tax resident with you, with your family, together. Okay? When I say assets abroad, I'm not just talking about properties abroad, I'm also talking about financial assets detained abroad. The financial asset detained abroad could be my investment in a stock market, my ETF, my shares of a company that I have abroad, or simply is my own company that runs a business abroad, properties abroad, my multiple properties that I have under rent. So I have several elements, several assets that might be liable of tax declaration, and they could produce a certain important income, and of course this income will be taxed in the country in which I'm moving to, because all those countries in Europe, they all are based on the worldwide taxation system. Okay, so all the countries in Europe, in general cases, by default, they apply the worldwide taxation system. They want to know everything about your worldwide possessions. They want to tax all your worldwide possessions, and also you have to declare, report, and disclose everything that you have abroad. Also bank accounts and any kind of financial product. Okay, so this is something that we have to do when we analyze a personal situation. That's the reason why a consultancy on case-by-case scenario is mandatory, because everyone has a different situations based on assets detained abroad. And this is a classical case. When I move to a country, I'm not just producing my business, I'm producing my income through my business. I'm making my profit probably online, change my jurisdiction, but I also carry with me all the series of assets that I can bring with me physically, that I can withdraw in my bank account in a new country, or other assets that I cannot move. They are basically in the jurisdiction from which I'm moving from, and basically I have to deal with the double taxation agreements between the country from which I'm coming and the country in which I'm heading to. Okay? Now, I wanted to give you the context of the situation. This is the classical situation that you are going to face with our client continuously. So this is the very important point. And in this video, I just want to give you the list of countries in Europe that might be interesting for you if you have a certain number of assets abroad. Let's first categorize the first type of countries in Europe that might help you to consider your assets abroad completely tax-free and completely invisible from the tax authorities. Yes, this is possible. And those countries are basically Portugal, Spain, Italy, Greece, for starting, because all those countries, despite the fact that they are fully compliant with the worldwide income taxation, they want to know everything about your possession abroad, disclosure and everything, under certain tax regime, under certain tax schemes, you are exempt to give them all the information on your assets abroad and also on the income produced abroad. For example, starting from Portugal with the new version of the NHR, you are still in the situation of not declaring or not taxing all your possessions or your incomes coming from abroad. In Spain, you have the famous Beckham law. Under certain conditions that I also have explained in this channel, so subscribe to the channel on ESENtaxa because you will know a lot about this about each and every tax schemes regime in details for each European country actually. So about the Beckham law tax regime in Spain, you are not taxable still on income generated abroad and you don't disclose your assets that you have abroad. Same as for the high net worth individual tax regime in Italy because of you going to pay 200,000 euro flat from 2025 because it used to be 100,000. This is the amount of money to pay flat every year to say to the Italian state, I don't declare you all my assets abroad and I don't pay taxes on all my incomes produced abroad. Same in Greece. Greece has a very similar tax regime for a high net worth individual, but at the top you have to also pay, if I'm not wrong, €500,000 investing or putting in a bank, in a local bank or local investments to apply for this tax regime. As you can see, every country has different rules to apply a specific tax regimes that allow you to stay in that country for a certain limited amount of tax years, but in reverse, in exchange, they don't want to know and they don't want to tax all your assets that you possess abroad. Okay, so they basically they say, okay, we are a worldwide taxation countries, we tax all your worldwide income except under these conditions. In these conditions we make an exception and we are going to behave like a territorial taxation system countries. Okay. Then we have another category of countries, which is basically, I will just list them in this video. I will list only two of them, which are basically now possible to exploit. One is Malta and one is Cyprus. In both countries, we have the famous no-dom principal tax scheme. Well, it's not really a tax scheme, it's just a no-dom status, let's say. They have different rules, Malta and Cyprus. Cyprus it was a little bit more favorable, but this can be details in the consultancy. We can check together based on your situation which one is the best. But in both cases, the fact that you are not dom, and not dom means that you were not born in that country, you didn't have the passport, the citizenship of that country, and you prove that you won't be your final lifelong destination. Basically, it's a sort of proving that you will be in those countries, you are going to be living in this country only for 10, 15, 20 years and no more. If you fulfill the requirement of not dom, basically all your assets that you have abroad and all your income that you have produced abroad, as long as they are not remitted, basically are not taxed. Of course, Cyprus has some exception on this. As I said, there are differences, but those are the typology of countries, because in this video I'm just to give you the typology, the categories, the typology of country that through their not-dom tax regime allows you to have all your assets abroad tax-free or not disclosable. Okay, this is another categories of country that you might consider if you would like to move still in the south of Europe, because in the first categories of country, then the second categories of country, we were basically look at the south of Europe, the Mediterranean area, which is the most enjoyable in terms of weather, life, etc., etc. And now the third categories of country. This one, it's the one that basically it's something that is not very known, not very acknowledged out there on YouTube. If you're looking also at other tax consultants in YouTube that are basically making a lot of video about this subject, there are other categories of country through which you can exploit the convention to avoid the double taxation that those countries normally apply or write with your country of origin, or several country of origins of our clients. What does it mean exactly? It means that those countries, in general cases, if you possess assets abroad, or if you generate incomes from abroad, they don't tax your income from abroad, as long as this income somehow is proven to be taxed abroad. Okay? I will rephrase this concept. So, Imagine you're in a country, you pick up a country in north of Europe, because here we're going to move to the north of Europe or Eastern Europe. I'm going to tell you now more or less which one are the country with this kind of principle. So you move there, you don't want to move in the south of Europe, you want to move in the north of Europe. You pick up one of those countries with this feature. The feature is, once you become a tax resident there, you will be liable to worldwide income taxation, and most likely sometimes disclose also your worldwide possession, but you're not going to pay taxes in your foreign possession, neither on your income generated abroad, as long as the country in which you are living, now in which you are moving to, acknowledge that in your country of origin, that kind of income, it's already taxed. No, it doesn't matter how much, but has been already taxed, is subject to taxation. And this is the classical method to avoid the double taxation written in the conventions that normally those countries agree with each other, they sign with each other, which is called the exemption method. So basically I'm talking about all those countries that applies the exemption method in regard with your country of origin. For example, if you move to Belgium, I know I repeat Belgium so many times in this channel, but this is the country where we're living, so I know very well what's going on. So if you're living in Belgium, become the Belgian tax resident, and you're producing also employee income or business income in another country, under certain conditions, this income will be taxed only in that country. Now, it's true that you're not going to be tax-free. We are not talking about in situation of being tax-free, but it's true that if you're producing abroad a type of income which is very, very low taxed, 1%, 2%, 5%, it's already enough to say to the country in which you're moving to Europe, such as Belgium, that you must not tax this income, okay? So if you're in the situation where you want to live in Belgium and you have all your incomes from abroad, it makes absolutely sense to move there, because you will be taxed only from the country from which you're originating your income. And those countries are, as I said, Belgium, could be Luxembourg, could be Germany as well, could be Poland, could be Bulgaria, Romania. So all those countries that in general cases, they apply the exemption method in the convention to avoid the double taxations, okay? And that's it for today's video. I know I put a lot of concepts together, so we classified 3 categories of country in which you can move to Europe considering your assets abroad and also your incomes produced abroad. First type of country, the one that are good only if applied the specific tax regimes, those are under not domicile status, if you are eligible. And of course the third category, those countries that normally applies the exemption method in the convention to avoid the double taxation when you are producing incomes or you are simply having income from abroad. I hope you like this kind of content. If you are more interested in this kind of scenarios, you can book a consultation with us. In the description below the video you have our email contact, info@ESENtaxa.com, Calendly link to book a consultation, and of course if you like our channel, notification bell, like button to be always updated whenever we release this kind of content. See you to the next time. Bye.